After spending so many years in and around this part of the country, what would you say are the best features of King Ranch itself, the actual physical land?
You mean as far as the beauty of it?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for people
Especially
to
at
see the
Noria's,
beauty.
you know. Up here, you got a lot of mesquite country. That's all you have. And the farming country and Lorella's and mesquite country up here. And everywhere you have mesquite, where you got clay. And you better get some rain on it, or else it'll start cracking and everything else. Like my father used to say, he says, when this kind of country up here at Santa Gertrudis and Lorella's, when the country's good, you can't put enough cattle on it. When the country's bad, you can't take enough off. And that makes it a difference between Encino and Noria's. And Encino and Noria's got a lot of live oak. Got sand dunes, got the coast, got some hilly country, and all of those kind of things, which makes it very, very hard to work on with cattle. Because in all that we had one pasture that was 55,000 acres, Santillo pasture, very famous pasture. And we had a lot of steers in there. And we couldn't ride them up on horseback. You couldn't ride them up on a helicopter. You couldn't see down there. It's like finding a damn rat in a damn grain field. So what we did was make them come to water where we want them to and trap them. But then you still have to drive them out to the pens. And that's where it took cowboys. Real cowboys. Real cowboys. You don't have any of those kind anymore. Nope. No. And the reason we always had good cowboys is because they were, third or fourth generations and stuff, and we used to train their kids would go with us, and we'd train them. And train the cowboys, on doing a lot of things. The ones that didn't know. The old cowboys would lecture them and tell them, where to be and where to go and all those kind of things. I know they helped me.
In all your time on the ranch, do you think, was oil and gas always active? Was the energy companies always present within the environment that you guys worked in during your career? It seems like they've been down in this part of Texas for a long time.
Well, from what I understand, is that I think in the 30s, there wasn't much oil and gas production. And Mr. Bob was in charge of the whole King Ranch. And my father, he was a cowboy, said that the rest of the cowboys would gig him to go ask Mr. Bob for a day off on Christmas. And he would, and Mr. Bob reluctantly said, well, if you have to, go ahead and let him off or whatever. And, but the King Ranch was going to go broke, so King Ranch went up there to Humble at the time and asked them for some money. And they did, and in return, Mr. Bob started leasing some of the country, and of course they found oil and gas and this and that, and kicked the King Ranch in the butt.
But that means you've been out there with rigs.
Oh, no. Every time there was, as far as Dad too, as far as we were concerned, anytime the head guy from Exxon, which was Carl Peters and then Pat Ketchum, and he'd have their gophers go down there and talk to Ed, go talk to Lavodia. We want to drill a well at certain spot. They bring a map. And Mr. Bob never wanted a straight line built out there, especially during live oak. Mesquite grow fast, but live oak, no. So we had to take him and, this and that and all that stuff. We had to tell him where we wanted the road. We had to tell him where, because they're always trying to get us to give them some water from our wells. We said, no, you're going to have to drill your own, and this and that and all that stuff. We don't want you to suck up all our water. And then our cattle I'd be worried about cattle not having any water there at certain spots. Depends on where it was. But we never did have any kind of argument or anything to that. They were agreed what gate they were going to go in. They'd pay for the gate man. They'd make sure that the roads were in good shape, whether it was caliche or asphalt, for those big rigs. It used to be all clay, and then every time we get a rain and stuff, you had all these goddamn kind of trucks stuck out there, and they said, to hell with this shit, we're going to go to caliche.
Any disasters in the whole time they've been on?
I never could think of any, no.
And they cleaned up afterwards?
Oh, yeah. They're supposed to be chicken. They're supposed to clean it up and leave it just the way they found it. And they were good at it. If we see something wrong, hey, let's take a ride and look at here. We want this, we want that. And they never wouldn't renege. Nope.
And in the follow-on from that, they've come back now for fracking in those same wells, haven't they?
So, well, I don't know about that. I've been gone there for a good while. I don't know.
And you weren't around for the windmill era, where now they're leasing land to put up the big wind turbines.
The windmill era was brought about by the John Kennedy estate there at Sarita. And General Marcus Nettles was the one that looked into it with the advice from the Kennedy County Commissioner. And then he was criticized for bringing the windmills in there because the King Ranch didn't like them. And they wasn't going to be on the King Ranch property anyhow. But anyhow, they put them up.
But King Ranch doesn't have them operating on their land, right?
No. They might later on.
And in your opinion, educated as it is on the topic, could you ever see King Ranch being run with electric golf cart truck type, if the people who want to convert all of America over?
No, too big. 886,000 acres, man. Takes you a long time to drive a tractor over all that.
Right.
Yep. Helicopters, yes. That's a thing of the future. And smaller pastures. Yep.